I like that StreamYard asks you 2 times if you're ready to go live. Just in case you're not ready, you could get ready. Last night's live was funny, dog. That was a good live. I've been eating Vienna sausages. I'm like a little kid still. Like, my grandmother used to buy them joints at the supermarket. She used to get mad because I used to champ them shits by myself. Now that I'm older, I get mad at them shits and just OD on them. Like, yo, you can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. I do that with raisins too and sharp cheddar. My wife, many years ago, when we was staying at her mother's house or whatever, many years ago, Thanksgiving she'll get the sharp cheddar, and I go in the fridge and champ that shit, forgetting that, yo, that's for the mac and cheese. Don't do that. Savagery. Eat a whole block of sharp cheddar for Dolo. So we're gonna have Rick Ramos on here. We got some very interesting talking points to go over. I'm looking forward to that. Because we got some very interesting talking points. I want to pull them up here so that I got them ready once he comes on. There's a lot of things going on that need clarification. All right, bet. We got them right here. Put them right here. But yeah, yo, I'll be having too much fun talking about the dudes on the internet. I was like, oh shit, my charger broke. Wow. At least it didn't break in my phone. Wow, no wonder that shit wasn't working. Oh well, thankfully I have 2. That's messed up, man. Look at that. Look at that. The whole piece came off, bro. Like, what they make this stuff out of? Aluminum foil? Like, how the whole piece came off? I wasn't abusing this joint. Wow. It's like plastic in there or something. Give me a second, fellas. You want to fix these technical difficulties? Give me a second. Thankfully, I have 2. I have a lightning cable, which is a faster charger. It's a much faster charger, stronger charge in less time. Why did I click that? It's a faster charger. See, I got the lightning joint, the joint that come with the iPhone 10 that it's like a little cable box or whatever, the little fat joint. I got that joint. I bought the cheap joint as a spare, but I guess you get what you pay for, right? So we're going to have Rick come on here in a few, and we got some very interesting subjects we need to talk about here on the channel. Hold on, let me go back to the joint, pull up the talking points, because it's some very spicy subjects that need to be covered, and we're going to cover them because that's what we do. Get the conversation going. All right, but we got the talking points right there, so we're going to leave those right there so we get ready. Itemized list of talking points. And as stated, the rules of engagement are the same. If you wish to address a question to either Rick Ramos or anybody who I'm interviewing, you must do so in the form of a super chat because my eyes are fixed on the screen, whereas I'm not looking over there. So if you got something you want to ask, I ain't going to know till I see that the color panel changes. So, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got 2 I got 1 sweater. It's my Argyle V-neck because Kat keep making fun of me, talking about I be wearing the same hoodie. She can't even see that the logo is different. Talking about I got 1 sweater and a t-shirt. That's it. Talking about I got 2 sweaters. I got 1 sweater and a t-shirt. Cause she making fun of me, talking about why you always wearing the same jean jacket. All right, we got Rick right here. Hey, Rick, what's good? Jessica Mccaskill, what's good?
What's going on?
So we got some very exciting talking points. I want to get right into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is the Matchroom deal. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, you know, being affiliated with Eddie Hearn, I think it's been beneficial for us in our situation, hopefully. I think it shows that Eddie is still a player in the sport, obviously. I think with the Triller deals and you know, those guys trying to step up, and it looks like they're trying to make a real push. I think it just reminds everybody that Eddie's still in charge, and I was happy to see that. It's comforting knowing that he's still working hard.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask because I kind of thought he was going to stay with Sky because they did so much good business already. It's like, well, if you're already doing good and you have an established subscriber base, then why would you want to gamble needlessly? Like, you don't have to gamble on the zone when you've been getting money with Sky. So to me, it surprised me.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's more to it. I think that there's Eddie's working on bigger things, like they might they just launched their media platform too. So I think you're going to see a lot more. I think Eddie will release an app at some point. Eddie seems to be up and ahead of the curve, so he's kind of sneaky about it in a good way. And I wish him nothing but the best, and hopefully we're on every platform that he's involved with.
All right, so that covers the Matchroom deal. Let's talk about the horrible congratulations. Let's elaborate on that.
Which part? Which one?
This is the second talking point. We got like maybe 6 talking points here you discuss.
Yeah, no. I wanted to touch on the horrible contracts. I think it was.
Oh, okay. I read that wrong. Well, it says congrats. You meant horrible contracts. All right, let's talk about the horrible contracts.
Yeah, it might have been auto spell check or whatever. But yeah, no, the horrible contracts. And this is the thing that I think a lot of fighters are getting confused, right? Like these are why like the biggest fights are not getting made. Like, I don't want to drop names because there are people who call me and tell me or ask me questions and told me certain things. So I don't want to put them on blast. But let's just say like, the biggest fights are not getting made, and they're getting offered six figure fights. I'm talking about the women. They're getting offered 6-figure fights, and they can't agree to these purses because there's I've been talking about it already. There's these third-party promoter pieces in these contracts. There's power of attorney in these contracts. They all word it different. But ultimately what it means is like on certain levels, the promoter knows the actual price. So let's say Jessica, right? Let's say, Julius, you're the promoter and you're like, hey, I'll give Jessica $500,000 to fight Cecilia. And I'm like, okay, because I have power of attorney. You don't know that. But I'll go back to Jessica and say, hey, Julius is offering $150,000. And you're like, okay, see if you can give me more. I'm like, all right, let me go back and see. And I'm like, yeah, Jess, I got you another $50,000. You're making $200,000 on this fight. Are you good with that? And now she's got to pay me a third back of the $200,000.
Wow. Yo, I already know. I know I have a particular situation, and I'm not going to say anything, but I have a particular situation in mind where I firmly believe that that's what applies, that there's a price and somebody's double dipping. I'm not going to say nothing, but
yeah. So, and I think those, and again, for those girls who I know signed those contracts, they signed those contracts 8, 10, 12 years ago. And, they didn't think anything of it because a third party promoter, you're thinking people don't even understand what they signed. So like until this pandemic hit, when let's just say, I hate to say names, but let's just say promoter A shops you to the zone. That's a third party promoter or, another network. So instead of you fighting normally on ESPN or HBO or Showtime, whatever, they shop you to the zone. So they're getting a third of your purse. So if you Julius, let's say Oscar De La Hoya takes you, you're a Golden Boy fighter, takes you to the zone, then you owe Golden Boy a third right off the top. Now that's not even including your manager who you own 30% to. It's not including your coach who you owe 10% to. So now you're in the whole 76%. 66%, 76%. It's all dependent upon a deal. So that's how these promoters who don't have platforms, that's how they're surviving. That's why their shop, you see all their fighters fighting on the zone as B-side. And when the pandemic wasn't around, they were on the A side. So it's a little irritating, to watch these fighters getting robbed. And it's more irritating to hear the fan say, you know what, XYZ doesn't want to fight XYZ because they're scared. No, it's not that, man. It's just that their deal is so bad that if they take $250,000, they're going to go home with $40,000. And it's terrible that, that the fighters are doing that. Here, and I'll give you another example. Summer Lynn, somebody suggested that we sign with them, right? And I had dealt with the promoter, let's just say the promoter's representative, okay? And they said, hey, we would love to do a deal with Summer. what is your? I'm sorry, I'm trying to set this up. My bad. So I would love to do a deal with Summer, but do you coach or manage, or what's your position? I said I coach and manage Summer, and I'll be honest, I don't charge um, Jessica or Summer to train them. I just charge them as a manager fee. That's it. So and I have one of the most generous deals on the street. So anyway, so they offer me this. They're like, "Hey Rick, what's your percentage with Summer?" I tell them. They're like, "Okay, well, why don't you slide over to the coach position, and I'll give you a cut of the manager, 33 and the third percent. I'll take a cut, you take a cut." So now right there, that's 43 and the third percent, right? And hopefully what we'll do is get her some fights on the zone. Oh, I'm like, well, wait a second. Well, what's the third party promoter act? Like, what percentage do you want if you shop her to the zone? And he was shocked that I even knew anything about that. And he was like, well, because they sneak it in your contract. They don't ever talk. No one talks about it. And the only time it was really activated is when the local promoters get you to a level. Like if you're a local promoter, you're signed with Johnny down the street, and then they put you on a Golden Boy show, chances are you don't even know what your real purse was. You see what I'm saying? Like it might have been 40 G's, but that guy, the local Johnny Loaf of Bread's giving you 15,000 and telling you that you made a deal, that he made you a good deal. So they don't even know that. So my point is, so after that, he wanted to take 33 and a third. He wanted to give me 10% as a coach, and then he wanted to shop Summer to the zone. I said, okay, so you want 30% if we fight on the zone? He's like, yeah, that's kind of standard. I'm like, dude, that's 76%. What the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's 19 years old. You're telling me you want her to walk away with 24 G before she pays taxes? I'm good.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like, it's bad.
I have a question. What's your advice for fighters to avoid that third party promoter? Like what?
Negotiate it. I'll be dead honest. Jessica and I originally, we got involved with that kind of deal. And I said, well, wait a second. Before I get this Katie Taylor fight, the first one, I'm not paying you a third because Jess walks away with nothing. Like, we got to renegotiate that. We went back and we renegotiated that third party promoter contract. So now it's at a level that we don't even notice that it's gone. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's so small. Because more so, and I learned this on accident. I'm not a fucking genius, but I learned this on accident more so because I think that there was a lot of people who didn't believe that I could get the Katie Taylor fight, that I could get the Cecilia fight, that and things like that. And it wasn't Matchroom. It was another promoter, but I negotiated a deal and I showed loyalty by keeping them with us the whole time. And I think it's very, very important. And I think that if I knew that going in, we would have never signed a deal. And I'm telling fighters, they need to know that. They need to know the third party promoter act. But everybody words it different. It could be power of attorney, third party promoter act. They just phrase it different ways. So I don't know what it would say underneath your contract. Do you see what I'm saying? They disguise it in different ways. So, and they're not doing anything shady. They're protecting their investment, and I get it. But that number, 33 and a third percent, is too high. And it's just like a manager. I don't ever take 30 anything. And I coach you and I manage you. And a lot of times I house you and buy your fights and get you going. So I think I'm the best deal on the street.
No, and I guess because the lesson there is for the young fighters that have not signed a contract yet. They're about to sign a contract. What should the course of action be for them? Have a lawyer look over the contract to put it in layman's terms for them?
Always. Listen, I have a lawyer, and I get the contracts from the promoter, who's also a lawyer. They look at it. I look at it. Jessica looks at it. We have another lawyer look at it. And 9 times out of 10, they miss a sentence. And that sentence could have cost Jessica, us, big 6 figures, easy 6 figures. And I think that, somebody missed it. I don't know if it was on accident or not, but those things are, and I'm not blaming anybody now. I'm just using it as a hypothetical, but somebody missed something. And if I missed it, I would have taken it very personal. If I missed it, I would have taken the blame for it as well. So you just need to know what you're signing and what it all means. And you need to, and go in there. Like, I have a chalkboard right next to me, and I go over it with all my fighters, how to pay taxes, how to read these contracts. I break it down. Like, I'm a little school here for my fighters. You'll always catch me teaching my fighters how to read these contracts and what it means and how much it costs. Hey, Summer, if you made $100,000 today, this is what you're bringing home. There's no, like, Jessica brings home 80% of her purse. She's one of the biggest money take home people in the game. So I don't know. I'm proud of that.
But no. So that's the advice. That's the advice to every fighter,
sure.
to make sure you know what's in your contract, what everything means, and if possible, have a lawyer look over it to make it, because legalese. Everybody doesn't understand legalese, unfortunately.
No.
But when you're signing contracts, you want to understand as much of what's in there as possible, because Third Party Promoter Act or power of attorney, that empowers a lot of people to get a lot of your money, and you don't want that to happen.
No, and you know what? There's a couple times in my manager side of careers where I told a fighter and his father I didn't want them to take the fight. I could have exercised power of attorney and stopped it, but I didn't. I'm just like, you guys want to do your thing. That kid got knocked out and he retired from boxing, and I have nothing to do with him. But that was a lesson learned for me. It's like, if Jessica wanted to walk away from me right now, I'm still her manager. And I would get her the best trainer possible. Freddie Rose, Nacho Bearstein, someone bigger than me, not someone behind me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I still would want her to win.
All right. So we've covered the contracts and bad contracts and what that basically entails. Now let's talk about the rematch with Katie.
Do you have any words to it? Sorry, I'm over just like, I get all hyped up when I start talking about it.
I mean, it's just, I feel like we have to like chase after this, and we have to do so much work when, it's obviously something that the fans want to see. There was this whole 4-female tournament, and then after like I won, it like disappeared. So it's like, okay, you said I was going to get it with this 4-female tournament, and then now it's not even being talked about. And now I feel like I'm still having to like, push it and hype it up. And, so I have no idea what's going on their side. We're waiting to see what happens May 1st, or if we get contacted before May 1st. I'm sure Eddie's busy with all of his DAZN Sky Sports, situation. I understand that this is business, but it's just kind of like, we've always been the black sheep of boxing, where it's just kind of like people set us off to the side, until we're like the Brussels sprouts on the plate. Nobody really wants to touch us, but if we have to, we will. It's like, all right, cool, we good for you. You should definitely take part. But, people just want to like push us to the side. So, I mean, we don't limit ourselves to just that. And, if it does happen, that's going to be probably the decline of Katie's career. I'm ready to go in there and knock her out. They're not ready to see what I'm going to bring to the table. I think they might be afraid of what we bring to the table. So
I wanted to ask you both a question. Do you feel that they thought Cecilia would win the fight?
100%, 150%. Because even that night, I think we mentioned it to you before, that the WBC, and I don't mean to show disrespect. I'm not showing disrespect. This is a fucking fact. The WBC gave us a belt with Cecilia's name on it. That wasn't Cecilia's belt. It was the new belt. So it's like, that's disrespect. That's a smack in my face. So it's in our face. So to me, it's like, obviously they thought that. I when I had mentioned the fight to some of the people in the Matchroom circle, and again, I'm not talking bad. I'm just saying facts. Like, a lot of people are like, man, this is a tough fight for you guys. I wish you the best. It wasn't like, you guys got a shot kind of thing. It was like, do your best kind of thing. So I knew we can beat her. I mean, I was pretty confident about it. I'm like, man, I don't see us losing, and I really didn't. And I felt like, man, if we lose or if Jessica got stopped, God forbid, I would be like, I don't know anything about boxing. You know what I mean? I just felt like in a lot of ways she was like made to be 36-0. I really don't know. I mean, she beat a couple of good people, but I don't know how she got 36-0. I don't.
I can say this much based on what I've seen, even over the years, right? What I see, because I love Cecilia, like y'all know that. I love Jessica too. You know that.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I think that Jessica has the right style for that fighter. Remember, Cecilia's a finesse fighter. She wants to stay behind her jab, set up her punches. She's not going to get into a knockdown, drag-out brawl the way that Jessica is going to make it. Jessica's going to make it that kind of fight. So from where I was sitting, it looks like, you know what? This is actually a bad style matchup for Cecilia. It's bad.
Right. I will say, yes, I agree 1,000%. And I think the other thing that no one talked about except for me was that Abel is probably the worst trainer for her. Not because I'm not saying anything about Abel. I'm not saying anything about Abel.
No, I know.
He's a very nice guy, but like that would be like I don't know who's more of a like that would be like a Virgil Hunter, let's say, training Jessica. It wouldn't work. You see what I'm saying? Jessica's too like lively and active for someone who talks so slow with his instructions. And you see what I mean? Like you gotta hype Jessica, you gotta get her into it. And I think someone like Virgil Hunter would be bad for Jessica. And someone like Abel Sanchez is the worst pick ever for Cecilia because
I think
she's not a banger.
that it was a proximity thing with them because I remember reading that Jonathan Banks had gone over to Golovkin where he was training Cecilia. He had gone over to Golovkin, and it's kind of like they did a wife swap to where Banks goes to Golovkin and Sanchez goes to Breakus. It looks like it was a network thing that happened between them because it's like it can't be a coincidence that he gets your old trainer and you get his old trainer, but like you said, it's a bad fit.
I think so. Yeah, I think Triple G was like tired of just fighting everyone, and he wanted to go back to a little bit more of a boxing style. So he brought in Jonathan Banks, and I think Cecilia was boxing for so long, she wanted to see if she could mix up. To be 39 years old or whatever, or how old is she? I don't know. 39 years old. It was like a bad time to start that. You see what I'm saying? Like she should have started that 5 years ago, and she would have probably been able to handle us better. But overall, like I think. She didn't like being uncomfortable, and I don't think the matchup or the connection with Abel Sanchez was good at all.
Me neither. I'm gonna say that and I'm not just it's not. I'm not saying it just because I'm a fan. I say it because I believe it. Jessica's a tough fight for a lot of people at 140. Why? Because it's gonna be physical. It's not gonna be. Ain't no chess match. Nope. It's gonna be you got to be able to take the punches because that's what's coming. If she's going to get it, she's going to crowd you. She's going to be all over you. And me and you talked in the buildup of the fight. And I said, like, Jessica could be a nightmare for her. She can because she's getting older. Jessica's young. She's younger than Cecilia, at least. Strong. And she's physical. I've seen Cecilia whole career. She's never been physical. So it's like it's a bad style matchup for her. It's a very bad style matchup. Beyond that, though, the reason I asked that question is because of the point you're raising that perhaps the people at Matchroom did not anticipate that Jessica would be the one that won the fight. And that threw the schedule off because the look of it to me is Jessica gets that fight if Natasha loses. If Natasha wins, rematch. If Natasha loses, the logical choice is Jessica Mccaskill. Why? She's undisputed. She has all the belts. You could look at Chantel, which is still a great fight. It is. You could try to do it with Amanda again, though I doubt that would come off.
No,
but you've already done business with Rick and Jessica. You have a good working relationship with Rick and Jessica, and that fight, unlike every other fight, is for all the marbles. 2 undisputed champions. No fuss, no muss.
All right, so let me ask you this. Do 2 things. One, I don't know why people are even bringing up Chantel. I don't even like she's. I want to forget about Chantel because she doesn't deserve us talking about her because we wanted that fight 2 years ago and they were like blew us off. That's one thing. And the second thing is like this is we're gonna slide off to another topic maybe, but do we fight for all the belts at 135 and all the belts at 147? Since now everybody's doing this thing, is that something we ask?
I know, and that's just. It's frivolous, and and I already know where we're going, and I love her. I love her. Like I've watched her career for a while. I love her. She's one of my like she's literally one of my personal favorites. But that's bananas. You get to fight for 2 belts from 2 weights in one fight, and against look at who it was against. And I'm like, look, I can't knock it because we know there's no girls up there. There ain't no girls up there. It wasn't nobody was even holding a belt up there. So it's like, I dig it. You got to give the belt to somebody, but this is 2 belts for 2 different weights in one fight.
This is a couple things, right? This is exactly what I mean when, like, what belts? Was it WBA or WBC?
It was the WBA at 175 and the WBC at heavyweight.
And which one was vacant? The 175?
Both of them. Both of them. No, there's no champions at those. Literally nobody.
So to me, this is exactly what I complained about before. The WBC and the WBA need to promote that shit. Like, tell people. Like, I would have got a girl. I would have picked up a girl this weekend. We would have fought in 3 weeks for a vacant title against that girl. Like, I could have put Summer up there to beat that girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, Summer walks around at 180. We would beat the other girl, no doubt about it. And here's the other thing. I want to tell. Goes back to my point. and I'm going to try to keep my cool and not drop names because it's very frustrating. Two things. One, if I did that, if we did that, I would never hear the end of it from all the guys who did it on their end. You think Lou DiBella and all those other guys would be cool if I did that shit? They would be livid. All of them would be livid if I pulled that shit. That's one. Second of all, fighters, listen to me. Why fight for fucking 2 belts in one fight when you could get fucking 2 paychecks, okay? And this is what I mean, because she probably made 60 grand or less. I don't even know. But here's the thing. Let's just say you made 50 grand for that fight, right? Why don't you get 2 fights for 100 grand or 2 fights for 80 grand instead of 1 fight for 50 grand? It's like the fucking business logic is so asinine that I don't even know what to say. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's from a business standpoint. I told Jessica.
Of course. The thing is that I don't think that every fighter, like what I see about you and Jessica is that you guys are real hip to the business, not just the boxing, 100%. Not just what's going on in the ring, but actually the contracts and all of that. Whereas, every fight is not the same. They don't all have the same capacity for legalese and business.
I get it. And you know what? I think a lot of people who are doing those deals, who are helping those people fight 1 fight for 2 belts, they know what I'm saying because they're the ones who don't have to cut a check, 2 checks for 50 grand. They cut that 1 check for 50. So for me, I understand what you're doing. But if I fucking did it, you fucking guys would be all over me saying, you fucking scumbag, you fucking. So I'm saying you guys need to clean up your shit because there's smart people around who know exactly what the fuck you're doing. And it's irritating me. And I'm this close to dropping names because it's so disgusting what everybody's doing. It's irritating. I feel that, first of all, let me start from the top. The WBC owes me another coach's belt. That's one. And second of all, I feel like when it comes to me or Jess, or when it comes to me going all crazy like I am, people don't want nothing to do with me. And it's frustrating because it's like, I only tell the truth. I only see it how I see it. I could be wrong. And just sometimes I am wrong. And if I was wrong with you, you'd be like, well, Rick, you just tell me what it is. And I'm like, fuck, I didn't think about it. But other people, if I would have Jessica fight for the vacant 154-pound title and the welterweight title, do you know how much shit I would get?
Of course.
The whole fucking boxing scene.
You know what the thing is? It's because they recognize Jessica. What I notice is they'll let somebody get away with something because they don't know them, but because they know Jessica and they've seen her before, oh, let's crucify her. Let's make an example out of her. That's because they would never let nobody get away with that at 47, at 40, at 30. No,
but how do you let Hannah Gabriels get away with it? She's respectable. I like her, actually. I'm not. Hey, this has nothing to do with Hannah Gabriels. You do what you got to do. But I'm saying I think she could have parlayed that into 2 fights and 2 paychecks for more than what she got. That's what I think. I could be that wrong.
I'll say this. I think that could have been a unification match for 2 vacant titles in the same division as opposed to 2 titles. That don't even make sense. How you going to have 2 titles from 2 different divisions in one fight? That don't make no sense.
I'm going to slide this off into the same kind of people that are involved. Okay, 140-pound division. There's 3 champions working with that same people. Now, here's the other. No, I'm just saying the truth because let's fucking talk about it because there's fucking people texting me, threatening me and shit. So now, this is how I play. You want to play on social media? Welcome to 2021. So here's the other thing. The other thing is this. You straddle them. They're straddling markets up there, correct? Because I'm a trader and I understand how to fucking trade. And that's what you call spreading, straddling the market, whatever, cornering the market, whatever you want to say. Now, you did the same thing to 140. Now, all those girls at 140, except for Chantel, they're out there publicly saying, I don't want to fight each other. We don't want to fight each other. We're from the same team. So that didn't work. So, what is the fucking business logic here? What the fuck are you guys doing? I don't understand. I don't understand, though. So, and the reason why Chantel, this is the reason, and Chantel's calling Jessica out because she knows that those 3 girls don't sell 20 tickets combined. That's exactly why. And it's irritating. And you know what? I liked Kelly Reese until she started opening up her mouth, whatever. I liked her whole career. Before I even got to this level, I always liked her. I always respected her. The same thing I always respected all these chicks. But it's irritating because if I did the shit to you girls, they would go fucking crazy. They would crucify me 100%. So I just see a pattern of bad business everywhere. And I feel like I'm the only one talking about it.
I felt when I noticed that all the belts were, and I'm, I can say it because I'm just being honest, and I'm not going to say anything bad, but from
wait,
a
real quick.
consumer.
I didn't say anything bad. I literally
No,
said
yeah.
Those
Like,
are facts.
I'm not gonna like it. Ain't like that. I'm saying what I thought when I saw that Mary got a belt and Kaylee got a belt and Christina got her belt back. What I figured is, okay, I know what they're gonna do. They're gonna try to go into business with Eddie because they know that Chantel got a belt, and that's a good payday. Every single one of those fights, mix and match them, they're all good fights. Chantel between Mary, Chantel between Kaylee, Chantel between Christina. Those are all good fights. So as a consumer, what I figured is, you know what? They probably not going to fight each other because there's no money in them fighting each other unless somebody put the money up. Like maybe you could get, like you say, okay, well, what if I have my girl Mary fight my girl Christina and you put it on a Matchroom card on the undercard of Chantel versus X, Y, and Z. That way we build up the fight. That's what I thought was going to happen.
See,
now,
I never thought that because I feel like I know those guys very well, and so I always thought like everybody ran to 140, and they thought Katie and Jessica and Chantel were all going to be there, and Katie stayed, and we went up and took those titles at the welterweight. So now it leaves them with just Chantel, and Chantel whips all three of them. So now they're like, well, Chantel isn't as big of a star as Katie, and maybe not even as big as Jessica. I mean, in the UK, yeah, fine, but here in the States, no. So it's like I kind of think like now they're in a position to like now Kelly Reese wants to come back to 147. Now Chantel wants to come to 147. They understand that Jessica is a top 4 moneymakers in female boxing, and it's just frustrating for me because I wanted those fights long ago, and everybody blew me off. And the same crew who has those girls or whatever, they told me, and they were like saying to other people like Rick Ramos taking Jessica to welterweight and fight Cecilia is That's
smart.
No, it was. They said it wasn't smart. It made no sense. That's what they told me. Everybody was like, Rick Ramos is an idiot. Publicly said idiot, and he's a rookie and made rookie moves, make all this stuff, and it was the best deal in the game. It was the best situation in the game, and we won 2 fights, and it was Jessica was paid very well, and I'm very proud of those decisions that I made and we made together.
They were all. I mean, hindsight is 2020, so we see that they were the right decisions. Moving up for Farias, right decision. Unifying with Anaías de Sanchez, right decision. Going up for Cecilia Breakus, and bear in mind, I was nervous for y'all just as a fan because I'm like, yo, they crazy. Yeah. But then I thought about the fight, like, yo, you know what? Cecilia at her, and I love Cecilia, you know that. But I'm like, Cecilia in her prime in the old days, like way back when, she's never been physical. Not physical. No. She'll jab you. She'll set up some shots, but she's not rough and tumble like Jessica. Now, if you watch Jessica from her first fight till now, it's going to be a brawl. Like, she's going to get at you. So it's like, you know what? This might be actually a really good move because if they get them belts, like, you don't have to, like, y'all in a position, at least from where I'm sitting, you're in a position where you don't have to take any fight that you don't want. Like, nah, we ain't got time for you. We waiting for Katie. So at least the look of it to me is if Katie beats Natasha, what I expect as a consumer is Taylor versus Mccaskill too. That's what I expect. Now, I guess that it kind of it got stretched because Matchroom, I don't think they thought you were going to win that fight. 100%. I think they thought Cecilia was going to win that fight, and then they could go from Breakus versus Mccaskill to Breakus versus Taylor. That's probably what they thought was going to happen. They didn't think it was going to turn into 2 fights. The encouraging thing I'll say is that there were 2 fights. They were on the DAZN platform, and that shows that y'all still in the running for that fight because who else? Think about it. Who else is offering the undisputed championship in 1 fight? Nobody. 140's not unified. Amanda's down there at 126, and I don't know that they want to do business with her. But even if they get back to talking about Taylor versus Serrano, well, she's at 126. She don't bring a belt like Jessica. Jessica bring all the belts.
I know. I don't understand. Here's the other thing, like, and I'm sorry to switch it up again. Like, what's going on in the 140 division? Why is Chantel and I like Melissa Hernandez. I like her, so I want her to get a title shot, and that's probably not going to be an easy fight. But Chantel will probably stop her late, and I get that. But how come like there's no action? Like, how come no one's fighting in that weight class? I mean, I know the answer, and I'm trying to be respectful, but What's happening? Like, I don't understand. The 140-pound division is like, it's like ghost town right now. You know what I mean? And it's just like, where is everybody? You know,
Bro, look. And I got to talk to Brian. I've been meaning to set up an interview with Brian so I could get his side of things because I haven't gotten that chance yet. But like, I honestly feel that the plan might be, round robin between the Empire stable and Chantel Cameron. That's what I thought. That they're like, yo, what they're gonna do is, you got 3 different champions at the same division, and then there's Chantel Cameron. Are they gonna try to do, okay, Mary McGee versus Cameron, Kaylee Reese versus Cameron, and then, if she's coming through these fights, if she's winning them, then finally Christina Lenardatu versus Cameron. That's literally what I thought they was doing, and that's what I still think they're doing.
See, I would think that, but not if Kelly Reese is calling out Jess. Brian knows for a fact that the Chantel round robin thing ain't happening because or else it would have already happened. That's right or not? I mean, why?
No, you're right. You're right.
Because why would he chase something when there's a money in front of you? Why would you go? If there's a money bag in front of you, why would you go down the street to try to go do something else? It doesn't even make sense. I don't know. This last thing, I will say this publicly. If anybody, and this might sound weird coming from me, if you can just call me and talk to me, anything is possible. Because sometimes I'm like, yo, if I like you, I'll do whatever. But when you call me with threats, no, never call. If you text me with threats and you do like do that kind of shit, like I'll never help. I'll never help you. And I know you. There's nothing you can offer me. I know what I can offer you. So it's like for me, I think if anybody ever wants to do business with me, like just call me and talk to me because I call and talk to anyone.
No, I'll say this. Jessica won a fight that nobody expected her to win, right? That extended the schedule and it changed the pecking order because there were 2 breakers fights. And remember, you asked what happened to the tournament. What I believe happened to the tournament is, well, they didn't think Jessica was going to win that fight. So it ended up being 2 breakers fights instead of 1. Now we're at a point where because there were 2 breakers fights, Katie had to find someone to fight in the meantime, which is Tasha.
Right.
Otherwise, it would have been Taylor versus Breakers.
But wouldn't you have, in my opinion, moved Katie to a non-title fight, tune-up at 142, 144, 140 even, just to walk her up in weight? Like, Tasha Jonas isn't a walkover. I do think that Katie will win, but it's not easy and it's not guaranteed. I would have went with a lesser, and I know other people from Matchroom or whoever will be like, Katie likes the challenge. Listen, at the end of the day, Katie likes money. The challenge, I don't know what she's getting paid for this fight, but I know that like the challenge is with Jessica, not Tasha Jonas. She offers nothing but risk. I just thought that was kind of taking on too much risk when they didn't have to.
I'll say that or at least from where I'm sitting and based on speaking to people that live there, speaking to people that followed both their amateur careers, from what I can see, there's a lot of interest and a lot of money in it because of what happened in their amateur days that they fought. And people have been waiting to see them fight again. So I see that. And I also see that Tasha's on a high right now because of the Harper fight. A lot of people liked how she looked out there. She looked great out there. Some people think she won the fight. But, the Harper rematch is not happening. So it's like, well, we got to do her solid. Let's give her the Taylor fight. So there's some demand for it. Let's give her the Taylor fight. But the catalyst, I honestly believe the catalyst that set these events in motion is that they were not banking on Jessica winning the fight. That turned the Breakers fight into one fight, from being one fight where they thought she was going to win and then going to the Taylor fight into 2 fights that she lost. So because she lost them 2 fights, all right, well, now we got to find somebody for Katie to fight in the between time. She can't wait. We got to find somebody for her to fight. All right, let's give it to Tasha. But I believe after that, and that's just me, I believe if she wins, if Katie wins, y'all is next because nobody else makes sense.
That is like the longest way to say that Jessica Mccaskill is one of the most key components in the female boxing division. I mean, let's be honest. Come on, man. Like, I just feel like, remember when all you girls were afraid to fight Katie and we did? Remember that? Everybody stopped talking about that, right? So I feel that she deserves a rematch when when Jessica Mccaskill won more belts than Katie Taylor. Count them. We win more than her. So we deserve
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, she won She won 5 Alphabet, 1 Ring Magazine. Jessica won 6 Alphabets. 6 Alphabets, 2 at 40, another 4. If we count the IBO, for there's more, but
Right.
it is a fact. It's a numerical fact. It is a fact.
And the
2 at
ring
40,
belt.
4 at 47 plus the Ring Magazine belt.
Yeah,
So
wait, can I ask you totally pop-up question? What is up with the IBO? Why does no one really counts the IBO? I don't know why.
You know what it is?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I know why. They used to do this to the WBO in the old days. The WBO wasn't always part of the 4. It was originally WBA, WBC, IBF. That's it. And then the WBO was looked at as the bastard stepchild of belts. It took years for people to accept it. Now with the IBO, which I don't think is a bad organization, I honestly think they're a good organization. They do their ranks numerically with a computer as opposed to picking and choosing who you want to be somewhere. Yeah. But they're like a baby in the game. Like there's no lineage. Like I remember not that long ago, the IBO super middleweight champion was Reynald Quinlan, and it's like, who is that? Where's he from, bro? Like I never heard of that dude. Like
right.
So
no, I get it.
I mean, I feel like they're getting there. They have a lot of champions on their list now. I feel like the computerized system, rather than the pick and choose, is legit. And honestly, they were the first one to get me my belt. They called us. They got Rick a coach's belt. There's some other stuff out there. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about.
Yeah, and they asked if we were interested in summer fighting for a Walter Ray Jr. belt. So like they were like on top of me. They called us the second we got home, and we were the first. That was the first belt. They gave me like a little coach's belt, and they were interested in working with Summer. And you could see Summer win the IBO Junior Walter Ray title probably in her next fight or two. So we'll see what happens.
Along with Jessica, Terry Harper carries the IBO title.
I like Terry Harper too.
Like a lot of people have it. I just think it's going to be a combination of things. And this does not involve y'all. This is just me speaking as a fan and a consumer. A lot of people are tired of the WBA. A lot of the fans are tired of the WBA. We're tired of the WBC. And because we're tired of them, that's an opportunity for the IBO to come in and idealize the situation. And look, as long as you're not playing games with your ranks and you're not bending the rules whenever it's convenient, we'll accept you. But right now, if you ask the average boxing fan, you want to see more belts in boxing? You know what they're going to say? No. We got too many, bro. WBA got like 7 by themselves. The Interim, the Interstellar, the Intergalactic, the Interpersonal, Intermediate.
It's crazy.
It's wild out here. Like,
what else was on that list?
I give them, honest to God, maybe 5 to 10 years before they're accepted with the others, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take time.
Well, I accept them. So.
Yeah, I accept them too. Hit me up. We get Summer that belt next. What else was on that list? I forgot.
Okay, so we covered at least 3 of them. Now, why all female shows are bad, all female cards, as opposed to intermingling men's and women's fights on the same card?
Yeah, I think they're like 4 years too late. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. Like we had talked about that when we were in Dallas. You, I, and myself and Jessica. Like I just think like you'll get more eyes on it if you put the Katie Taylor, let's just say for argument's sake, Katie Taylor versus Jessica McCaskill on the undercard of Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. Oh my God! Like how many new eyes do you get on that? If you put an all-female show, let's say Clarissa and Katie, Clarissa's the main event and Katie's the co-main event, I don't see that. Like people are gonna be like, "Oh, female show, you're gonna lose half your viewership." So I just think like, I just think like it's horrible business. Like, and it's dated business. Those old contracts are dated. Trying to pull the shit that people pull is dated. Everything that everyone's doing now is dated. It's all old. We need fresh, new people and young minds. And I definitely think like you sneak a female fighter too. On every show, you get more eyes on it.
Well, I agree. Like, look, Taylor versus Pursoon got the attention that it got because it was on the big card. It was on the Joshua. Nobody forgot that card. Why? Because I'm a Joshua fan, but he got his motherfucking ass kicked that motherfucking night.
Yeah, we were there. We were there that night.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So wow.
And Taylor versus Pursoon was on the undercard of that fight, which goes to your point that if you mingle the cards, if you mingle the fighters, you stand a better chance of having a random set of eyes see your fighter. But if you, and I said this myself, if I made a card with Yamileth Mercado and Dina Thorsland, I know they're good fighters, but the average motherfucker walking the street don't know that. So if I just make all girls and the average motherfucker walking the street, he don't know them, he's not even going to want to see the card. But if I put him on the undercard of, say, Charlo versus Andre, hypothetically speaking, you have a better chance of reaching somebody that you wasn't going to reach before.
Right. And here's the other thing. On the business side of it, females shouldn't want that either, because that means there's less money in the pot. If Canelo's fighting, it's big money. And big money, little money to Canelo is big money to small people. So if Canelo might be paying out $100,000 to everybody, and I know a ton of girls who are not even breaking 50,000 yet. So I just think, like, from a business perspective, once it's an all-female show, I'm like, I'm out, because my girls aren't going to make any money on that show. I already know that. And they should know that too, instead of getting all caught up in the, oh, it's an all-female thing and I want to be a part of it. I get it, but they ain't paying. And if you're willing to, if you can't say we should be paid as equal as men, and then be on an all-female card where everyone, the biggest purse on there is 20 grand. Like, the
most valid point raised to me by a woman named Bianca over there in the West Coast. She runs Beautiful Brawlers. She made a very good point to me that I didn't consider, that there's a lot of girls that don't have that option. They don't have the option of being on a big Canelo card or something. They don't have that option. They don't have that go-to. So for those girls, it's an alternative. And I get it. Like, you know what? Something is better than nothing. If for the time being that's what you can do, then do that. But just in the greater scheme of things, that does deter customers. I know that as a consumer.
I still no, I don't live by the I'd rather eat a cookie than eat nothing at all. I live by the, like, I'm gunning for a steak. That's how I live. I think if you think like that, that's small thinking, and I think that's settlement thinking, and I don't settle for shit.
As soon as you start settling, or as soon as you start to get your name related with those kind of smaller things, people are going to know what they can throw at you, because you'll take it. Right. Or they're going to know that they can, like, edge you out of something big. And, so you have to, like, either sit out and just shut up and wait for your turn, or if you need that money, then go get it. But, like, it's never necessarily better. Nothing is never, like, worse than taking, the wrong thing.
Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people understand, and I can't really say the numbers publicly, but, like, Jessica was offered certain fights at a certain level, and Jess was like, oh, we should look at it. I'm like, fuck no, we should get double that. And I stayed with it. Now, if someone calls Summer and says, hey, Summer, we want to sign you, and they're on bullshit, Summer will be like, hey, just call Rick, he's my manager. And then they won't call me, because they know I'm not an idiot. I'm not gonna fall for that stupid shit. So my point is, like, I just think, like, if you start settling a little bit, then a little bit becomes a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. I don't think I think if you're a young woman and you don't have those opportunities to get on we didn't have those opportunities to get on the big shows. We bought our own tickets. We hustled ourselves. Everything we did was just us, just and myself. You know what I mean? We didn't have those same opportunities.
I would say that, look, you guys have and I'm not just kissing ass, I'm just being honest, that you guys have a very unique work ethic that is very specific to y'all, that I don't see a lot of other outfits or teams as a unit. They don't operate in that way. I see, and I'm not naming names, I'm just speaking in general, that what I see is there's a lot of fighters that think that, oh, well, that's what I got a manager for. Oh, well, that's what I got. Like, nah, you better get motherfucking involved.
Right. And now that when those guys say that, they're getting taken 33 and a third. And those guys are getting shopped to the zone, and those guys and their promoters are getting a 33 and a third, and you're going home with 25%, 24%, and those are exactly the people. Once you start settling for that, nah, it's crazy. I remember, certain deals, and again, I can't talk too much details about them, but people were like, "Hey, Rick, that if you guys lose to Cecilia, that deal won't be the same." And I'm like, "Don't even get me started. Jazz is gonna give me all started." And I would be like, okay, well, after we beat Cecilia, you better call me back with double. And 7 a.m., phone's ringing. And you know what I'm saying? So it was like, yeah, we take a lot of fucking risk, but that's because we ain't, like, that mindset of, like, take what you can get. Nah, we take what we're worth. There's massive
I
difference.
agree with you because, and it's
Massive
not
difference.
limited to boxing. That's anything, bro. Like, if you don't risk nothing, you're not gonna get nothing. You gotta take chances.
100%, man. We like, man, I just, Jessica and myself, I just retired from the trading floor after 25 years, and Jessica helped me get there. She's like, you know what? How about if I give you a raise? Will that get you off the floor? And I'm like, yes. And she's like, oh, you got that raise. And she's like, quit, motherfucker. I was like, the next day, I was like, yo, I'm out this bitch. And they were like, dude, what the? You just quit after 25 years? I was like, yeah, I'm fucking done. Just fucking got up, walked out. Be like, see you guys.
Look, like, I commend, and like I said, I always bring y'all up as a point of reference that, and once again, it's not limited to boxing. If you don't risk anything, you won't get anything. You have to take, like, you got to put yourself in that position where, you know what, yeah, I might lose. And if I lose, I might be better off. So let's focus on not losing. Let's focus on winning.
100%.
Because if you just, and I could say shit that I'm thinking. I'm not going to say shit that I'm thinking because then but it's like I see people doing it like, yo, why are you settling? You better than that. But you got to try. If you don't try, then.
It's crazy because people will settle, and I won't mention names, but people will settle for a $20,000, $25,000 fight, but like not take a 6-figure video game deal. Like, what the fuck? Like, who does your math? Like, who is your manager? Who is like running your shit? There's the other two things are happening. Either someone's lying to you about what you should have get, or someone's stealing from you. That is it. Something is going on.
I'll tell you what, bro, it's a third scenario because the only way that makes business sense to me is if I'm laundering money and I don't actually need it. That's the only way it makes sense to me. I'm like, yo, dog, like, do you realize how much money you're leaving on the table by not doing certain things? So you must just got another source of income or something, because I would not be comfortable leaving 6-figure paydays on the table.
Listen, and to go back to that story before the Cecilia fight, and I don't mean to tell your business too much, but like we were at a 6-figure deal, and I was like, Jessica's like, what do you think? And I'm like, yo, I'm not feeling it. And she's like, good, because I'm not feeling it either. And I'm like, Jess, just for the record, I have to say it out loud. You understand that we both agreeing to walk away from a 6-figure deal. And Jess is like, no, I understand. I don't want it. I'm like, all right, I'm with you. We just shook hands on it. I'm like, yo, man, thank you for the offer. We're out. And then we beat Cecilia, and then that offer comes in 3.5 times bigger than it was when it initially came in. So it's like,
yeah, I can hear you.
Can you see me or no?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think, like, it goes back to the point where we take a lot of risk, but it was very, very calculated. We don't do anything we don't like, and I that was one thing I learned earlier on in my life. Like, man, if you're uncomfortable, don't do it. Don't do it, and don't say, well, it's better. A low 6 figures is better than nothing. Like, if we would have did that, we would have missed out on what, $250,000 on top of the initial offer. So I'm like, that mindset will keep you low. You got to say, you know what? I ain't fighting on that shitty ass card for $2,000, $4,000, $6,000. I'm waiting. I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna go fight for free in some town no one ever heard of just to get 2 more wins, 3 more wins. And then when it's my turn, they're going to call and I'm going to be undefeated. If you're an undefeated fighter and you're fighting on a Matchroom show, you're going to get 2-3 times more than you would have got if you took risk early. I'm just telling you, I mean, we would have, if Jessica was undefeated the first time we would have fought Katie, she would have probably got double than what she got. You know what I'm saying? So
that's the thing. That, like, gambling, and nobody likes it. You know what I mean? Like, everybody likes a short thing. But the real prizes, it's like Ali and Foreman. Ali did not have to fight Foreman. But if we remember him in that light, it's like, yo, you want to fight this dude? You crazy. And that's life, B. Like, yo, you got to take chances. Like, you want to fight this dude? You crazy? You crazy.
So true.
And that's why we call him the GOAT to this day. That's why we call him the GOAT.
What else was on the list? I forgot.
All right, we got that. Boxing moving to online apps.
Oh, yeah. So, and the reason why I wanted to talk about that was because I feel like a lot of promoters out there who don't have platforms, who are they were kind of like doing these local shows, even though they had a bigger name. I feel like they're getting destroyed, and they're still calling themselves promoters. And it does bother me a little bit because I think that they're really just glorified like managers. And they're taking a bigger cut and shopping you to the bigger networks, Triller and the Zone, and they're taking a third of your purse. And that goes back to everything I was saying. So again, if you're here's the thing. Like, if I work for a company and everyone's getting fired 2 years in, I'm gonna be like, I see a pattern here. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like if there's 15 fighters in your stable and no one has a big promotional contract and no one's fighting but once a year, maybe get out. That's what I
Yeah.
think. I think you should get out. And to get on that point, like if you've seen the Triller app, it's insane. It's like TikTok, Snapchat, all these boxing network, a TV. I mean, it is insane. And
Oh,
I
look,
look at
I'm an
it.
old ass man, admittedly, and there's a lot of shit. Like, it's a lot of new shit. Like, I'm old. I like my shit. I like my DAZN. I like my ESPN Plus. And if it's anything
Me
other than
too.
that, like, I seen all them concerts and shit for the Ben Askren. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to see this shit, yo. I want to see somebody get hit in their face. I
I'm
want to
with
see this
you.
shit.
I'm with you. It was a lot going on for me. And I think, I think it's just like Jessica brought up a good point the other day when the UFC was doing like eye gouging in the beginning and different weight, like no weight classes. It was like random. And then they broke it all down and cleaned it up. And I think that's eventually what's going to happen with Triller. And like, I don't want to watch Urkel and Snoop Dogg smoke weed. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's like for kid. Like, when I look at it and I see who it's for. I see who Triller is for.
Yeah.
It's not for me because I'm old. Like, I don't want to see that shit. Like, Oscar, like, I think they did Oscar dirty, low key. Like, how y'all gonna put that man up there to call that fight knowing that he's saucy? He's saucy. That's rare. Like,
wait, first of all, I was like, yo, Oscar, pull the plug on yourself, bro. Someone's got to, where's your assistant at? She should be fired.
And he was, yo, look, he was on there, pop the balloon. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, why y'all doing him like that?
Honestly, like I always think it's good to see guys like in that in position, like to like relax and just have fun with it. But like to see Urkel, Snoop Dogg swearing, smoking weed, I'm just like, this is insane. I shut it off. I paid for it and I shut it off. Like when all that shit was about the purple weed shit, I'm like, all right, I'm done. I just shut it off. I don't even want to watch.
You better than me because I like you better than me because I'm like, nah, y'all not getting my bread, dog. And I got it. Like, it don't cost nothing. Like, I got bread. I just don't want to give it to y'all.
Yeah, no,
like,
you know what? No, and I agree with that. But I think if you buy it like 2 weeks early, I think it cost me $15.
15, yeah.
I think it was $15 if you buy it like 2 weeks early. So I was the $15. I'll pay for it. You know what I mean? So
I don't want to encourage them, bro. I don't want to encourage them.
But,
and that's
but
what
if I was fighting on Triller, would you watch it?
Of course, if it was you, but that's different. That's different. Like, look, think about what happened on that card, right? Ivan Redkach took a dive, talking about he got hit in his nuts, and knowing damn good and well you got punched in your rib. That's crazy, right? What's even crazier, you got a MMA fighter, a record of 19-2 in the octagon versus a YouTuber, and first one too, Ming Ming, go right down like a sack of potatoes, bro. This is not boxing. This is a circus. I don't like the circus. Now, if it's boxing, let's put it this way. If it's Jessica Mccaskill versus let's just say hypothetically speaking, let's say Chantel Cameron unified the entire 140-pound division. Jessica Mccaskill is still the reigning undisputed champion of welterweight. They put y'all on Triller. Yeah, I'm buying that. If I could, I bought Clarissa's card. What
if I fought a YouTuber? Would you watch it? Is that where it starts to like cross the line?
That would mean, all right, then you know what? If I'm gonna tell you what, if I did that, it would have to. No, wait a minute. If I ever did that, I would have to be doing you a solid. Like, you know what? They man cool. They gave me opportunities when I didn't know how to interview nobody. I'm gonna do you a solid. But that's it. If it turned into a career of fighting, like, nah, I'm gonna fight the girl from the Cooking Network. Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good, bro. I wish you the best, but I'm good, bro.
But how the fuck, like, the numbers they're putting up are insane.
That's because that's not us, bro. Those are not boxing fans that watch that.
No, I agree. But like, if you put on, let's just say for argument's sake, let's say Katie Taylor and Jessica land there. Let's just say. And they each get mega record deals and 2 million viewers. That helps boxing, doesn't it?
Of course. Yeah. But this is the ideological question that's being presented as a result of Triller. They're saying that are the people who actually follow Jake Paul, do those people want to see Demetrius Andrade? You know the answer.
No,
you know the answer.
No, I agree. But you gotta, if they're gonna bid for purses and things like that, and they want to spend the money, I mean, the promoter should just take their cut. That's where the third party promoter like that Bob Arum gets a cut of Teofimo's check. See what I'm saying?
Now, to your point, Franchon is gonna fight there, bro.
Yes, she should because
she's gonna fight. She's gonna fight for the undisputed there.
Yeah, because Oscar De La Hoya, he's going there, so everyone underneath him is gonna go there, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I would love, and I know Franchon personally, we talked on the phone a couple times, but like I hope to God she's getting record numbers payroll. I hope to God she's because go girl, you go get that cash flow. Because
that's what I'm saying. Like I'm happy for her. And I'm not knocking Golden Boy. I'm not knocking the zone, but I'm happy for her because, like, it's fights out there for Franchon, but I feel that the reason that they have not been happening is because it is. Like, you got to put that up. If you want these girls to fight her, you got to put up the right bread for them to do it because they know she probably going to beat their ass. At least pay them to go to the hospital. So
I just hope the third party promoter situation is under control and she doesn't have to give so much back to Golden Boy. That's the key. That's the key to. That's a perfect example of the scenario. I trust that Franchon is smart enough to know that. She seems like a smart person, and I hope to God she's making a ton of money. Because
when I saw she was there, I thought like, would they buy Franchon Cruz versus Aline Cedar Ruz? I don't know. Because she was there for the Ben Askren fight, and I'm like, you know what? Oscar's over there. You never know. And then I just looked on Michael Benson's Twitter account just now, and they saying Franchon Cruz.
Does that guy exist or no? Is that?
No, he's a real person. He's a real person. you ever seen Hustle and Flow?
Yeah.
Remember DJ, the skinny cat, the tall skinny cat?
Yeah.
That's what he looked like.
I was gonna say, I thought you were legit. Him.
Yeah. That's literally what he looked like the tall skinny cat. Not DJ, not
No, I know what you're saying.
But you know who I'm talking about. He got the big ears like that. That's legit, but he put out the information. I just saw a tweet from him that says Aline Cedar Ruz versus Franchon Cruz is going down this summer on Triller. So I'm like, get paid.
And I will say this. I will say that we got a couple interesting people calling us to make mega fights as well. And Eddie knows the information because I text him the information, but we'll see what happens. The Katie Taylor fight or someone else could, or another opponent for Jessica could land in anywhere really, because there were some shockingly surprising people who reached out to us to make a fight with Jessica versus other
I could go for Jessica Mccaskill versus Paige VanZant. I could go for that. I could go for Jessica Mccaskill versus Britain Hart. I could go for that.
What about Cyborg Nunez?
I could go for that. I could go for I could go for, especially on that app, because remember that app, I know what it is. That app is social media culture, youth culture, and the world star hip hop crowd that, hey, we want to see a fight. We getting drunk, we getting high, let's see a fight. That's what's missing.
100%.
That's what that is, B.
And it's kind of new too. In 6 months from now, as Jake Paul might be pulling down 2 million viewers. You know what I'm saying? It's
bro. They don't even have audiences at it yet. So you have to imagine 6 months down the line, when the crowds come back at full capacity, we gonna really see what they could do. Because right now we seeing what they doing in a studio setting where it ain't a big crowd. Imagine 6 months from now when they could actually have an actual venue or an actual hall, 10,000, 20,000. Jessica Mccaskill versus Paige VanZant.
That shit
never
would be
know.
crazy.
Crowd surfing. Hey, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna jump in the crowd and let them just take me away.
Listen, man, she can't beat you. Paige is good at what she do, but she can't beat you, dog.
She's all right at what she do. She's not great at what she does.
I'm just, I mean, like, she can't beat you. Like, it's a lot of people I don't really think. If it was somebody to worry about, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll tell you, like, yo, man, don't take that fight, dog. Don't take, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll be like, yo, don't take that fight, dog. Don't take that fight. But Paige, you whoop ass. She look good though. She look good. Like, she bad motherfucker, but you whoop her ass. Like, I seen her. Like, I seen her fight Britain Hart in bare knuckle boxing, which is emerging right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, you see she has experience, but I don't really think she's cut out for it yet. Like, she need more bring along fights.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have been her first fight of the contract. To me, that was kind of fucked up. Like, you're gonna put her in there with Britain Hart that has all this experience, and she coming from MMA. That ain't right. That's kind of fucked up. But
You would kind of think she knew better than to take a fight so aggressive like that. I don't know, or I don't know. That's just me. But
I mean, I think that I don't know. Like, I think that some people think their skills and their discipline will translate in a different setting, and it's like, nah, it won't, man. Like, you need time. You need time. Like, it's not the same. Just using these is not the same as you coming from kicking people and wrestling people and lean. It's different, bro. It's a different fight. So
100%.
give yourself some time, yo.
We
Because
get
you need to lose
people
that.
in here all the time that like just want to do mid sessions and stuff, and they're coming over from like MMA or
even the NBA,
Muay Thai, and it's like you'll have them throw a 1-2, and then you see them twist that hip, and it's like whoa, like they're not prepared to stop that. Like it's a mental regression almost. Like you gotta like unwind all that.
It's your muscle memory. It's your muscle memory. Like if you used to, just like you just said, 1-2, move the hip, kick, right? You've been doing that for years. You got to snap out of that, which is why. And I want to have this conversation with y'all. Like, look, man, I know Clarissa don't like me, and that's fine. That's cool.
I don't know if
I
she likes
live with that.
Yeah.
I don't want her to lose, bro. I really don't want her to go in that cage and get her ass beat. And I'm worried that, like, yo, dog, like, if she go in there and get her ass beat, that'll set back the sport in this country. It could hurt it. Because they looking at her like she do. And I'm like, yo, look, this is just me. I don't look at her as number one. Nah, you like number 2, maybe number 3, but you ain't number 1. A lot of people in this country view her as number 1. If she goes in there and gets her ass beat, what does that do to the reputation of the sport?
Right. And not only that, too, I feel like it's not going to happen. I feel like they'll cancel that fight in June. That's what I think. And they're going to say, oh, so-and-so got coronavirus. It's off. I don't know. I don't
Look, man. I hope
because
somebody get all the corona.
Clarissa Shields has 2 big fights. She can fight Jess, or she can go up to fight Savannah Marshall. Like, why would you take MMA right now? It's like the worst time in the world you could do that fight. I don't know. I think timing's bad, and I don't really think she fights it. I don't know. I could be wrong. But
I don't want like look, man. Maybe that's the father in me because I got a daughter. You know what I mean? But I'm like, I don't want her to get hurt. I ain't gonna lie. I don't want her to get hurt. And I'm like, yo, I don't want to wake up on Sunday and see Clarissa because when Heather Hardy went in there and got her ass beat, yeah, that shit bothered me, bro. She shouldn't have had to go in there and do that. Like,
yeah, right.
Come on now, like it bothered me. Like I don't want to see her go in there, get her ass beat, then they're gonna be like, well, that puts a black eye on the sport of women's boxing because this was supposed to be the best of them. Yeah. That's how they're gonna treat it.
Do you feel like that's what happened with Heather Hardy? Do you feel like that was
No.
Yeah, I feel like it's very individual. I don't feel like it translates over to boxing as a sport. I feel like, okay, well, Heather Hardy was mediocre to begin with, and so she went and did MMA, and so it just that's another person that we called out.
We tried to get her that fight a long time ago.
Look, I know y'all got beef with people. I just have to stay neutral. Like I can't man, she ain't shit.
We don't even have beef. Like we just at the time, Heather Hardy, we wanted her. We saw Weak Link, we wanted it, and she was a Cecilia Breakhouse of 130 pounds. And we wanted it. So like, there's certain people that are the weakest link, and you give me a weight class, I'll tell you who's the weakest link. 140 pounds. I'll tell you. Want to know who the weakest link is at 140 pounds? Mary McGee.
Go ahead.
Mary McGee, the weakest link at 140. Yeah, 100%. She's the weakest link. I don't know why no one jumped on to fight her. I might send Summer down to 140 to beat her up. We'll see.
I mean, hey, you know better than me. I know. Just this is what I'll say. Mary, as far as just technique, she has it. Everything else, I don't know. I don't know her as a person. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll say that all day. She has great technique, but no work ethic, no power. No drive, no passion, no war. Nah, she just got a little technique. That's it. Wow.
Hey, you know, I can't.
We spar with her all the time. We used to spar with her for 2 years, so we know.
I think that was before I turned pro. We used to spar with her. That was like way back, and I'm like, I could see myself catching up to her, and she was just kind of like trying to jump back into it, and then she got to where she was at, and we were very happy for her. And then it turned into like this whole like calling me out thing, and it's like
we were helping her get ready for a fight. Remember this?
Yeah.
We helped her get ready for a fight. We bought tickets from her. I brought my whole team. Kim Carlson, Jessica, Summer, and Alejandra Ayala. All 4 of my girls went, and myself. We bought tickets from her, went to her show, and then she called out Jessica.
Really?
I'm like, that's classless. I'm like, let's bounce. We bounced in the middle of it, bounced. And then like she asked me to sign her. And I was like, all right, there's a couple things I want to go over. And then the next day she signed with someone else. So it's like, for me, it's just like, it's too much. I
mean, I don't, as a consumer and a boxing fan, even though there was a time when I was interested in that fight, but that was before the Breakers fight. The Breakers fight changes everything because it's like, look, you offer Katie Taylor the opportunity to become a 2-weight. That's what's on the line. The opportunity to become a 2-weight undisputed champion, and not by picking up vacant titles, by fighting someone, right? Yep. There's value in that because we see picking up vacant titles, there's no value in that. And I've been saying that for years. Like, bro, you could get you could do Pokemon with all the belts that ain't nobody holding. Ain't nobody gonna big you up off of that. Like, well, who you fought for that belt? Oh, with this girl, they got like 12. All right, well, ain't nobody going. That ain't the same thing, B. Now,
I agree, but a lot of people, it's like that's their business model. They go pick up fake belts or vacant belts, and that's some promotional company's whole business model. And you know, whatever, you know the deal.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Let's see what's left on the docket. Nah, I ain't gonna say nothing, man, because look, there's people out there like this is the thing, right? And this goes to the point that you made at the beginning of this live, right? There's people out there that are mad at me, and I don't lie, right? The truth is unpopular. I don't lie about like I'm not gonna lie about nothing. I'm not trying to make nobody look bad, but if I say what I say, it's just a fact. And there's people that don't like me for that. Like,
no, and I get it. And you know what? And you know, I wasn't talking about that person, the fighter. I was talking about more like she might have been sold that dream. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they were sold, hey, let's go get this, let's go get that. That's what I think. I think it was above them. And they were told, let's go do this. And they did it.
I'm gonna say this, and I don't say everything that I think. Like I guess I never just show my cards. I could see what the train of thought for that was and who they were modeling that after, based on whose success. You can see the parallel. It didn't work. Why? Because this person that you're modeling this person after, this person fought hard fights with hard fighters. There was not opportunism. They fought hard fights with hard fighters. Scooping up joints that ain't nobody holding, that's not gonna do it. But it's like, yo, hey, God bless everybody. I ain't gonna say nothing back because I already they mad at me. I thought it was gonna be cool. It's all right.
You know, I'm cool with so many people, but sometimes I'm just like, all right, man, just fucking stop your bullshit. Like, and I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about somebody else. But like, I'm talking about above them because it's just too much for me, man. Just like, let's just do work. Let's just do work. That's it. I just want to make money and do work. That's all I want to do.
I mean, the saving grace is that I see that for the men and the women, for both, especially the women though, which is what made me a fan of the sport in the first place, of the female fighters, is that the females, this crop of girls that's coming through, right? All of them, they realize, yo, you got to have fights because win or lose, you could still be the winner. I tell everybody about Jessica, yo, she lost to Katie, right? Yep. But look at everything that happened after that. Ebony Bridges, she fought Shannon Courtenay. Now, you would have thought she was the one that won the fight because her stock is up here right now somewhere. Like, yo, she got a lot of fans as well of that.
No doubt about it. You know, but she's got to break. Now this is Ebony. I don't know her or nothing. You know, she'll chat on social media here and there. But like, she's got to break the mold of who she signed with and sign with a big promoter and get a big payday and break the mold of everyone else around you. That's what you got to do. I don't know if it'll happen. I don't know if she could make that happen. I hope it does happen for her.
I mean, I believe Eddie Hearn said that he has at least one more fight with her. He has at least one more fight. But I believe that, he's going to sign that girl. Why? Because she's ahead of the curve. She probably knew going over there. I don't necessarily have to beat Shannon. I just have to make a show. It's got to be a show. You got to make a show out of the shit. When Jessica fought Katie, and I always bring people back to this, nobody never seen Katie look like that before. Nope. She looked uncomfortable. That was the first time you saw a kink in the arm. They're like, oh, she don't like pressure fighters.
Wait, and you know what, too? And this is the thing that we talked about the other day. We were talking about this the other day where me, Jess, together, like, I'll rattle them, talk a bunch of shit. Jessica will talk shit to him during the fight and like push him after the bells, punch him a little bit, just make him uncomfortable. Now think about this. I got to stand.
Yo, the sound went out.
I'm sorry, Erica
All right,
Farias.
now I hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, those three. So Erica Farias, Katie Taylor, and Cecilia. What do they have all in common with Jessica?
What do they have in common with her?
Yeah, there's one thing besides they fought her. What was one thing that happened in all of those fights that's never happened in their careers before?
They got pushed back.
Yeah, well but they all lost the point. They were all so uncomfortable. Katie Taylor lost the point. Erica Farias lost the point.
That's
and
true.
Cecilia Breakhouse.
I forget.
And you know what?
Yeah.
No disrespect. I take credit for that because I was in the referee's ear. I was like, yo, watch the fucking hold. Watch the punch and hold. All these fucking scumbags do it. Blah, blah, blah. And they all got taken a point. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Katie got deducted a point. Eddie got deducted a point for holding. I believe it was for holding with all of them. They was all holding.
Taylor got a point not for holding because female refs, the refs who ref female fights, they are extremely uncomfortable with taking a point for holding. They freak out. So she got a point for hold like headlock and hitting me on the headlock. I think that's when the ref was like, yo, like this is too much. It was not for holding. Erica Farias, she was holding, but the ref was so discombobulated. He called me on a rabbit punch, like no warning, no nothing. Just like, I think he felt like he had to even that fight out because people don't take points with females excessively holding. And then Cecilia, before the fight, Rick was like, watch the elbows, watch the holding, and watch the push down, because every time, like we've seen a pattern in rematches where they know how hard I hit, and as soon as they get hit, they hold.
Yep.
So she was like, the holding to a point where like she was holding my neck. It was like a whole different kind of hold. It wasn't like let me clinch you. She had me by my neck, like. Okay, so I'm pretty sure you can hear him during the fight. He's like, "That's the 5th warning. That's the 6th warning."
I was counting the whole time. Meanwhile, Eddie's sitting she's Eddie like that. Eddie's sitting here, and I'm screaming at the referee. That's the 2nd hold. That's the 3rd hold. And every round, I'm like, "That's the 5th hold." And the next thing you know, he's like, "Timeout, 1 point. Timeout, 1 point." So it's like, I think if you like, you can hear me like crystal clear. And Eddie's you're all over them.
I watch the fights with the sound off because I can't take the commentary. Like it's like even no, I do like honestly like the Bridges fight, for example. I didn't know that the people at Sky and DAZN that they wasn't giving her no credit because I'm watching the fight with the sound off. Like and I'm seeing like, yo, Ebony winning this motherfucking fight. That's how I seen it. Like she's doubling up on the jab, she's getting off the right hand, she's pushing homegirl into the ropes. I'm like, yo, look like she winning that fight to me. But apparently, if you would have listened to the commentary, they were saying something else. They're like, oh, they bigging up Shannon because she's the house fighter. Yeah, but they wasn't talking about what Ebony was doing. So I'm like, I will see. That's why I watch fights with the sound off.
We were in Mexico. We were in Mexico, and Summer was about to fight, and we were watching that fight. So we couldn't hear. So I didn't hear it. But we watched the fight. And to be honest with you, Ebony Bridges, right, is the Bronze Bomber. Yeah, mm-hmm. She did a lot better than I thought. And it was very, very close. And I was actually happy for her. I was hoping she was going to pull it off. No offense to Courtney. I just don't know her. But I just honestly was hoping she'd pull it off because I like to see the underdogs get the big deal. I just like that. I don't know why.
Well, that being said, I think we've covered all the bases. I look forward to having y'all on again. And we're going to try to keep it neutral because I don't want to get in trouble with more people. There's enough people that's mad at me. And I don't need them to be mad at me. Always a pleasure.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. We'll talk soon. All right, brother?
All right, man.
I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.